yes, your first locality of the trip, Mamonia Village. We're at the northern end of the village. Just keep an eye on that. So I don't trust that. I'm just checking. I know where he's.
He's going to park in front of the geology.
I know he's just turning round. But just,
No, he's off. He's off.
Savas just does what Savas needs to do.
You do use Savas.
He drove us last year, and we just learned. You know, he knows these roads very well. He's driven for a lot of geology field trips over the years. And in fact, we drove this road to head up to the Troodos, so you can just begin to see sort of over towards the north as the landscape gets a bit higher. We start to get into the sort of the mountainous centre of Cyprus. But yeah, we drove up this road, and Savas said, "Oh yeah, I took geologists here. Oh yeah, I took geologists here. Oh yeah, I took geologists here." We're like, "Oh okay, perhaps we should come and have a look." Because last year we didn't stop at this site. So we thought for the Mamonia complex it would be appropriate to come and have a look at it in Mamonia. So your basic task here is to work out what these rocks are and what information you can gather on the Mamonia complex here in Mamonia. Now, here's your first test. Does anyone know anything about the Mamonia complex?
Who wrote about it? Oh, it's got...
There's a lot of rocks.
What did I write down?
Hang
on, I've got some stuff written down.
There's 3 groups. Okay, yep, that was true. There are 3 groups within the Mamonia complex. Anyone know? The Diarizos group. This is the Diarizos Valley, and that's the Diarizos River.
Pelagic.
Ios Photios group.
Yeah.
Ios is Greek for saint. And I can't remember which saint Photios translates as, but you'll find around Cyprus there's lots of Aios or Agios villages, and they are saint whoever that village is named after. So the Aios Photios group, there must be a village of Saint whatever, Saint Photios nearby. And then the third,
Ayavara.
Beautiful, Saint Barbara group. Ayavara, the Saint Barbara group. It sounds slightly less, but Saint Barbara group, that's rubbish. But the Ayavara group sounds much grander. Be aware, actually, if you're trying to get back to the Basilica Resort, that B and V are almost interchangeable in Greek. So some people refer to the Vasilica Resort, and some people talk to the Basilica Resort. So similarly, Vavra and Barbara are essentially the same in Greek. There you go, useful information for you. It's probably the Greek alphabet is different from the one that the Roman alphabet that we use, and so some of the transliterations aren't quite the same. It's like Paphos, you'll see spelt with P-A-F-O-S and P-A-P-H-O-S, because the F could be either. So your grid reference, I'm going to use UTM coordinates, because obviously we're not on the British national grid here. I suspect there probably are British coordinates in here in some fashion, but we'll use the UTM system. So we are 36 degrees south, and then 04670. So that's going to be minutes and seconds. And then 38 degrees north. 38 degrees north. 38 degrees. Sorry, my brain's not working. So 30 degrees east.
Yeah, something's not right there.
It's a good test. I'm going to blame jet lag. It's only 2 hours, but fine. Whatever. Sorry, yes, 38 degrees east. 4769. Let's just change to 1. There you go. We can tell I'm moving very slightly. 47691. So 36 degrees south. 04670. 38 degrees east. 47691. So that's the UTM. Yeah, it'll be degrees, minutes, and seconds.
Oh, right.
I'll go back that later so you know what you're doing.
And then what's the other one?
The accuracy of the GPS amount is 3 meters, so it's actually pretty good. Cyprus is very well monitored for its strategic military value, so you tend to find GPS is quite good.
47691.
That's an evil face. So yeah, so we're in the Mammonia complex, and I say there are three elements in the Mammonia complex, as you just said. There's the Diarrhizos group, the Aios Photios group, and the Iavavra group. Now here's your next question of. So yeah, Diarrhizos. I'll spell them for you so you've at least got them in your notebooks. So that's DHIA. RIZOS. So DHIA RIZOS, Diarrhizos group. That's one of the groups, and the valley is the Diarrhizos valley. The Aios Photios group is three words a group, but 2 words. AYIOS. AYIOS. And again, just to confuse you in Cyprus, you'll see that the Y is interchangeable with a G, so it can be Agios as well. Very Aggie. We'll remember that part. But yeah.
What does that translate to?
And then Photios is PHOTIOS. PHOTIOS. That's the Aios Photios group. And then the Iavavra group is AYIA, one word, and then VARA, Vavra. Say Barbara, but with V's rather than V's. So 3 groups in the Mammonia. No, so there's a Mammonia complex. There are 3 groups within it: the Diarrhizos group, the Aios Photios group, and the Iavavra group. Does anybody know anything about what those groups are made of? So one sedimentary.
Oh no, Diarrhizos.
There is oceanic crust in the Mammonia. We don't see those light in the complete centre. Yeah, there are pillow lavas.
We've got schists and marbles.
We're getting some bits of. Anyone feel any degree of certainty about any of those groups?
Schists and marbles and the Vavra.
Okay, we've got a note here. So schists and marbles in the Iavavra group. And amphibolites. Yep. Yeah, the Iavavra group is effectively the metamorphic part of the particularly metamorphic part of the Mammonia complex. So the Iavavra group is, as the voice behind me correctly said, it's schists, amphibolites, indeed amphibolite schists, sometimes intergradational, and marbles. So that's the Iavavra is, as I say, predominantly metamorphic unit. And then I've heard 1 or 2 sort of mentions of other lithologies that you might expect to encounter within the Mammonia. I've heard some correct. Does anyone know any other? So we've still got this metamorphic group, schists, amphibolites. Any other?
Pelagic sedimentary rocks of limestone, mudstone, and quartzite and sandstone.
Okay, which?
Agios Photios.
Yep. So the Aios or Agios Photios group is predominantly sedimentary, and yes, consists of various fine-grained and some coarser-grained sedimentary rocks. So you do get sandstones, there are mudstones, there are other finer gradients, there are limestones in it as well. Okay, yeah, so we've got a bit of information as well about indication of volcanic material and diagenetic alteration, indeed metamorphic alteration. I would say the Mammonia complex is complex and it has undergone a lot of tectonic alteration, so it is quite a hard group to work with in many cases. The Diarrhizos group, anyone know anything about that? Like lavas. Yeah. Yes, it's a mixture. So the Diarrhizos group has both igneous and sedimentary components. It has lavas. Any particular types of?
Like basaltic.
Basaltic, yep. So there are basaltic lavas within the Diarrhizos group, that's kind of a key part of it, but there are some sedimentary units within it as well. Anything you know anything about the sedimentary units within the Diarrhizos group? Yeah, limestones, and it's quite an interesting. We'll see some of it a bit later on at Battered Aphrodite, and it's quite an interesting juxtaposition of units. Now, so those are the three elements. The Eye of Avra is metamorphic, the Aios Photios is essentially sedimentary, and the Diarrhizos is a mixture of igneous and sedimentary, particularly basaltic lavas and limestones. So those are the three bits that form it. The real challenge with the Mammonia complex is that it has been significantly tectonized and metamorphosed. So actually working out what the original environments were is not that straightforward. So I mean, I'm not expecting you to be able to sort of solve it, but what hopefully you've seen as we drove up this. So this road is the F616 off the main road, comes up towards the Troodos. When we were driving on initially, depending whether you're looking out the window or not, you will have hopefully seen that we're going through quite a kind of pale limestone cliff succession, and then as we got a little further up towards the village of Fasula, where we'll kind of go back to after we've been here, we see quite a change in the colour and the nature of the landscape. So we go from a very prominent sort of landscape of cliff escarpments and pale coloured, well-bedded sedimentary rocks into a rather more rolling landscape of quite varied colours. And as you look around you, you'll see there's sort of reds and greens and greys and actually again there's quite a lot of different exposure within this area. So this exposure at Mammonia gives you a first glimpse really of the Mammonia complex. So having given you that broad indication of the three groups, what I'd like you to do is come and have a look at the exposure in front of you, see if you can work out what lithologies are present, and therefore which of the three groups we might be looking at, and obviously anything you can get that might help you with depositional environments and structural information. So photographs and sketches, and then careful observations on the lithologies and any measurements that you might be able to take, and just sort of build up that first bit of information. And as we go through the day, we'll see more of the Mammonia and hopefully pull together these different elements such that we can start to figure out how it might all relate and what kind of system we may have been looking at that now has been sort of squashed and crumpled and rearranged, but which hopefully we can kind of tease apart in a sense of what system it may have represented when it was formed. All right, so already it's quite warm, so do make sure you're if you do get hot, seek some shade. We've got obviously a convenient orange juice selling cafe, so you can top up. But yeah, if you are on the road section, so we obviously can go up the path and have a look at the rocks in there. But if you do come down to road level, do make sure that you are keeping an eye out for traffic. I'll do my best to monitor that as well. All right, so. No, we assume dangerously otherwise. You kind of know what you're doing. So we were happy to do it. Treat it as you would.